What up, Internet fam? Prepare to lose your mind. WTF Daily bringing you the most insane viral videos and news. Comment, like, share, subscribe for a daily dose of WTF. Remember, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Unbelievable.
Liberal policies, it's rules for thee and not for me. And apparently that also applies to COVID lockdowns and mandates. It was okay to make exceptions for when the left believes was a righteous cause. The left said it was safe for 100,000 people to protest. 100,000 people in the middle of a pandemic, but they were giving you grief for letting people sit on the beach or paddleboard in the middle of the ocean. Why? Because in the case of the George Floyd protest, it was a righteous cause in their opinion. And by the way, it wasn't just protest. It was rioting. It was looting. It was attacking and burning a police station in Minneapolis. It was rioting in front of the White House to such an extent that President Trump had to be ushered into a bunker. And all this was acceptable because it was deemed righteous by the left. Speaking of righteous causes, let's take a look at Black Panther. I'm sorry, that's Kunta Kinte. I'm sorry, it's Pelosi. Wakanda
Priceless.
This is the absurdity of the COVID-19 lockdowns, liberal mandates, and of course, even a little cultural appropriations. This is very ridiculous. We must never allow something like this to ever happen again in this country. It's why we have a constitution in the first place, to protect us from the exact type of government overreach that we saw during the pandemic. No matter what side of the political aisle that you find yourself, you should always be on the side of freedom and preserving our rights via the Constitution. And that's why many of us walked away from the pandemic and the protests that followed, asking the question, were the COVID restrictions really about public safety, or were they about winning an election?
Wow.
You decide.
This is very gloomy. All the red lights are flashing, and you feel powerless to stop this First World War march towards the trenches. You know exactly what's going to happen in the trenches, and you just want people to say stop, literally stop the war. That is all you want to say. No one's in the driving seat. No one is actually saying, hey, hang on.
The only thing all 535 members of fucking Congress can fucking agree on is to ban TikTok. That's it. That's the only thing. I heard him talking about raising the minimum wage. Can't fucking agree on that. Heard about talking about trying to keep prescription drug prices low for people. Nope, can't agree on that. I heard him talking about the border. Can't agree. Can't even agree where the fucking border is. But when it comes to banning TikTok, line up, buddies. Bring that fucking Instagram and Microsoft money down here. Line it up here in our lobby. Oh, let me eat it up. I'm going to protect your privacy by banning TikTok. Don't you watch Risa Tisa? Don't you learn how to cook pasta right way? Don't you find out more about the history of this great nation? Don't you notice that this Congress, 250 years after the First Continental Congress convened in Philadelphia, has done less than any Congress in the history of this goddamn nation? No, the only thing this gaggle of 535 of the richest, most powerful, welfare queens being paid on a government dime can agree on is that I can't watch fucking tiki-talkies.
Hilarious.
Suck my...
This is an NBC News special report.
Good day, I'm Jose Diaz-Balart. We're coming on the air with breaking news on Capitol Hill, where the House just passed a series of spending bills that includes tens of billions of dollars in aid for Ukraine and Israel. The votes come after months of delay and partisan fighting. Those bills have huge implications for the wars in Ukraine and Gaza. But another bill just passed that we're going to have major implications here. The House voting to effectively ban the hugely popular social media app TikTok in the United States if it doesn't divest from its Chinese parent company. The ban not in effect as of now. That bill and the foreign aid bills now head to the Senate and then to President Biden. The bills are likely to clear both and become law.
Mike Johnson, so is today the day you're going to call for the vote seeking his ouster?
I'm actually going to let my colleagues go home and hear from their constituents because I think people have been too obsessed with voting for foreign wars and the murder industry here in America to actually understand how angry Americans are. When you have the strongest, loudest voices in the Republican movement and grassroots, furious, calling for Mike Johnson to be vacated. The people here, my colleagues, have not heard the message. So I'm looking forward for them to go home and hearing from the folks back at home. But this is the sellout of America today. When we had members of Congress in there waving the Ukrainian flag on the United States House of Representatives floor, while we're doing nothing to secure our border, I think every American in this country should be furious. Who's going to vote for these people? How can you vote for these people? They don't serve our country.
Are you promising to call a vote on a motion to vacate eventually?
I don't think you were listening very well.
No, you said you'd wait for your constituents, but will you ever call for a vote?
But I mean, given what you said, do Republicans deserve to be in the majority?
That's up to the people, because this is the third betrayal by Mike Johnson. He delivered a two-part omnibus, funded the Department of Justice, 91 federal indictments against President Trump, funded the FBI that raided Mar-a-Lago, gave him a brand new FBI building, funded Joe Biden's open border policies that are killing Americans every single day. Then he reauthorized FISA that spied on American citizens, spied on President Trump's campaign, and he voted against the warrant requirement, the same warrant requirement that he was for 6 months ago. And then he did this bullshit in here on the House floor, foreign war package that does nothing for America. It's unbelievable. I'm thankful that America gets to see who this man is. I'm thankful that America gets to see who the people that voted for this is, because this is the only way it's going to change. People have to see the truth.
Why is this fight against Russia not worth it?
Based on what you just said, are you waiting to see if there will be more support in your conference before calling a motion to vacate?
There is more support. It's growing. I've said from the beginning, I'm going to be responsible with this. I support my majority. I support the majority next time. I do not support Mike Johnson. He's already a lame duck. If we had the vote today in our conference, he would not be speaker today. He's already a lame duck. He can't raise money. Everyone knows it. We know we can't win the majority next year without raising money. He can't be speaker. He doesn't have the vote. This is the process that just has to happen.
What are you waiting for to drop this motion? This was the last big legislative push before September, something that you have been against for months now. What are you waiting for on triggering this motion?
You know, there's some people that are rash and irresponsible and do things like what happened last time. I'm not that person. I didn't come here to Congress to actually hurt our institution, hurt our majority. I'm handling this the right way, and so I'm allowing the process to happen. The American people are going to have their way. Our voters are going to make their voices heard to my colleagues in the party. And like I said, the vote was held today. Mike Johnson is a lame duck.
Are you ever going to bring
He's done. He's done.
What does President Trump make of this? Are you going to bring it up to Trump?
President Trump watches the news. I'm sure he knows
Wow.
what's going on.
What does he?
Unbelievable.
You're not going to say whether or not you've read the profile? I've got it right here. Have you read this?
Senator, I do not want to speak to the particulars of the case given the pending criminal
prosecution.
I
find this interesting because this is a new answer today. Now we do have the parole file. And now we all know that the reason he was paroled into this country was because lack of detention capacity. So let me just try one more time. Have you read the parole file?
Senator, I'm going to give the same answer, and let me say it.
Well, which one? Are you going to give me the answer you gave to Senator Britt? Or are you going to give the answer you gave to Congressman Bishop? Or the answer you gave to Senator Paul? Or do you want to try a fourth one? So you testified falsely under oath. Nothing is done to this guy. He had a criminal record to start with. He's in the country on illegal grounds. You have falsely and illegally allowed him in. He commits a crime against a child. He's not prosecuted. It's expunged. Then in February, he commits the heinous crime against Laken Riley.
You misstated some facts.
I have read from the parole file, which you have said you don't recall, don't have, you miscited. I'm reading from it. It is right here. Hopefully he'll get more of a trial than you got. Otherwise there'll be no justice for anyone at all.
A lot of bunch of Ukrainian flags on the floor. I don't think that's a good idea. Get the American flag on there. That should be the only flag there. We passed some things today. HR 2, which is a watered-down version of our HR 2, actually, reimburses states for costs incurred securing the border, and it makes the border a lot tougher and implements a lot of Trump's plans that the president took out that stopped a lot of the illegal immigration. Peace Through Strength Act that had TikTok in it, stronger rules on fentanyl, the Indo-Pacific Security Supplemental Appropriations Act, $8.12 billion for Taiwan. Again, this is passed under an emergency type situation, but where is the emergency in this? Emergency spending, of course, is exempted from our budget cap, so it's kind of a gimmick that keeps it from adding to our debt, but it's real. And of course, Ukrainian aid, I voted against that. $61.7 billion to protect their border, and that would protect our border, we think, anywhere from 6 to 12 times that amount of money. $481 million in it for refugee and infant assistance, so they'll be coming over here. $60 million in there for diplomatic programs. USAID, $39 million USAID, which is a corrupt organization. $7 billion economic support fund, and of course $1.5 billion assistance for Europe, Eurasia, and Central Asia, and the Ukrainian policy. I voted no. There's several $100 million in there for World Bank to do with whatever they want. It has nothing to do with Ukraine. I guess one of the more troubling bills was the Israeli aid, but unfortunately it had about $6 billion in there going to Hamas, we think, through these NGOs, non-government organizations. So it's a rough day for the taxpayers. $96 billion that we do not have, we're borrowing. So anyway, we'll keep
You've got to be kidding me.
My amendment today would drive the bill for Ukraine. Take each dollar amount in this act is hereby reduced to zero. You see, the United States taxpayer has already sent $113 billion to Ukraine.
What the F?
And a lot of that money is unaccounted for. This is a continuance of a sick business model that the American government continues. The federal government continues to fund the military-industrial complex, and this is a business model that requires Congress to continue to vote for money, to continue to fund foreign wars, and this is a business model the American people do not support. They don't support a business model built on blood and murder and war in foreign countries, while this very government does nothing to secure our border. The American people are over $34 trillion in debt, and the debt is rising by over $40 billion every single night while we all sleep. But yet nothing is done to secure our border or reduce our debt. Inflation has driven out of control. Americans are suffering every single day. They can hardly afford their grocery bills. They can hardly afford gas in their car. They can hardly afford rent. And now mortgage payments are well over $3,000, where they were only just over $1,700 3 years ago. The youngest generation, young adults, don't even think they're going to be able to buy a home in their lifetime. And today in Congress, the most important thing that this body thinks should be done is to send another $61 billion to a war in Ukraine that the American people by 70% do not support.
My head is spinning right now.
This comes on the very
How about you?
of Monday being April 15th, tax day, where every single American had to scrounge up their money and send their dollars in to the IRS. Or some of them had to file extensions because they weren't ready and didn't have the money to pay their taxes. But today, this body says the most important thing we can do, no, is not reduce spending. That's not it. Not to do anything to drive down inflation. Oh, no, we can't do that for the American people. It's not to secure our own border that is invaded every single day, by people from over 160 different countries. No, don't secure the American border. Let everyone in. We have over 1.8 million known gotaways. We don't know who these people are. And yet you have members of this body talking big and tough about, oh, we have to defeat Russia. Oh, we have to protect Ukraine. But yet all of you are unwilling to protect the American citizens that pay your paycheck, pay the light bills in this building, and pay for this entire federal government. For what? For nothing. Ukraine is not even a member of NATO. Ukraine is not a member of NATO. But the most important thing you hear in Washington, D.C. is, oh, we have to spend Americans' hard-earned tax dollars over to Ukraine and keep the money going to continue to murder Ukrainians, wipe out an entire generation of Ukrainian men so that there are widows, there are fatherless orphans, there are not enough men to work in their industries. Oh, but you really support Ukraine. Wow, what kind of support is that? It's repulsive. You know, shame on the American government. Shame on the American government. If we support our military, support our military. We should be funding to build up our weapons and ammunition, not to send it over to foreign countries to kill foreign peoples. And if this body was worth what it claims to be, what it is, every single one of us would be demanding peace in Ukraine between these countries, peace for these people, so that no more of them have to die. But you never hear anybody demanding peace. No, 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 no. Peace is the last thing Washington wants because it doesn't fit the business model. This is a business model that they say continues our economy, protects American jobs. What a disgusting business model. We should have a business model that builds up our American companies and American jobs to serve American interests, and our military and our government should care about protecting the national security of the United States of America and the Americans
What do you
that
think?
pay their hard-earned tax dollars.
Smash the like
to
and drop a
fund all
comment
of this.
below. What the F?
Right here in Miami right now, guys. FEMA. They're fucking here, guys. They're fucking doing it. And there's an antenna on top of this thing, guys. Generator and everything. It's probably a cremator. They're fucking doing it, guys. Look at the antenna. Look at the antenna. You see that? You see that? Everything for... They're coming up, guys.
The generator, too.
Yeah. It's a cremator. It's a mobile cremator.
Unbelievable.
They're fucking doing it, guys. Right there. Hey, you gonna stay right here? You gonna be done? All right then. It's air conditioning inside too. You don't like me recording your ass, do you? I'll start following you. Yeah. Saw him looking at me? Pick this shit up, guys. They're fucking doing it. They got the antenna on top, generator right there. Everything's right there, guys. Right here in Miami right now. That guy don't like me recording his ass. They got something in this truck, guys. Homeland Security are out here.
What's in the truck? What do you carry? What do you carry? What are you carrying? You have no idea. He has no idea what he's carrying, guys. He's carrying a mobile killer or some type of cremation device.
Remember, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Are these real or not? What do you think? What do you think? Smash the like and drop a comment below. Well, that's it for today, folks. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment with suggestions of what you would like and videos you would like to see. Until next time, fam.